No, I'll start at the wall. I'm just collecting and getting stuff. It's, I don't know, it's kind of weak, but they issued a tornado warning on it, so. Oh, okay. How do I get done with this story? Okay. All right. Whew. Already sweating. Yes, please. We should have done that a long time ago. Thanks. Okay. All right. Hi everyone, CBS19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony here on this Tuesday afternoon. Time now is 3:30. It just had this tornado warning issued for Gregg and Rusk County until 4 p.m. The rotation is pretty weak, but the National Weather Service is saying they are seeing a little bit of debris. So there's possible minor damage occurring with this storm as it slides across south of Kilgore, and that would be in southern Gregg County and then of course northern Rusk County for the next half hour. So these lines that you see within the box would indicate that a tornado possible with this or observed because of the damage that they're seeing there. And again, not a lot, but they are seeing a little bit of debris coming in with that storm. So certainly want to make sure that we can double check on that and maybe correlate that. So here I'm going to go in and you will see there's a little bit of green and blue near Laird Hill. So in the Laird Hill area, hopefully you are in your safe place right now with this tornado warning if you live on County Road 186 south of Kilgore here. Take that down, please, near Pirtle. That's 259 coming northward. So right in this area here is where we want to be in our safe place right now. That's going to be Highway 31. This storm is essentially tracking to the north and to the northeast. Let me put a track on that for us here. We'll keep that board up right there the way you can see it, and I'll be able to zoom this out just a little bit. We're going to look at this from right where that little bit of debris is showing up. So right in that Pirtle area, or I should say northeast of Pirtle, this storm is moving out to the northeast roughly kind of slow, and we're not seeing any areas where it would be moving into at this time. So let me take that out a little bit farther and get you a better indication of where that storm could be headed. We'll go out about 15. There it is. So you've got Monroe and Easton that would be in the path of that potential tornado that quickly spun up here this afternoon. That's between Monroe and Easton. 344 for Monroe, 424 for Easton. So that's a long way out there, but there it is. So FM 1 or 1249 East, right in that area there. I'll go back and show you the rotation. Again, it's not very strong, but it is certainly right there. There's Kinslow, and it's southeast of Kilgore. So Kilgore is in the tornado warning, but you're okay in Kilgore. You don't have to be in your shelter. But Monroe, you certainly need to be. And anyone that lives along 322 needs to be in the shelter because the circulation is moving in that direction from west to east. Watch how fast this thing just kind of spins up here, and then that tornado warning gets issued. This is called our Titan indicator, so that's going to give us a look inside the storm. Let me click on that for us and see what it's going to tell us about the storm. Interesting to note that the tornado impact is at a 0, but the wind impact is at a 7. So sometimes, and this can happen, it can be such a quick rotation, or potentially we could be so low level that we can't see it on the radar at a very good clip. And so it shows up more of a gust of wind or something of that nature. And so the wind impact is 7, the hail impact is on the lower end, and the flood impact with the rainfall also on the lower end. But let me go back to the debris tracker here so that we can give you an idea. That seems to be about the best way to see this circulation. And again, right in here, southeast of Kilgore, and that is now not real impressive, but certainly there. Let me go back to reflectivity here so we can look at the storm itself. In fact, it should be more in line right in here. And that's where I was showing that, that circulation a little bit earlier. in terms of where that little debris signature was showing up. So there's 322 again. I want you to be in your safe place if you're on 322. Pirtle, you're okay. You're outside of the tornado warned area right now. East County Road 292, you need to be in your shelter. Danville Road, you're fine. Danville, Kilgore, again, fine. They just shifted this to the east. This tornado warning goes until 4 o'clock this afternoon. So let me see if I can get any information from the National Weather Service while you check out the radar screen there. And what we're seeing from the Weather Service is they're saying tornado likely going through the south side of Kilgore, but what I'm showing you there looks like it's going to be farther south than that. So it may have turned to the south a little bit farther. And that information was about 7 minutes ago, so that's not out of the realm of possibility that it didn't just kind of dive off to the southeast. So that would be south and east of Kilgore. So I still think Kilgore is in the clear right now. And that little debris signature that I showed you had a better indication of where that storm would have been. So that's going to be, I believe, right in here in that dark blue area. We've been keying in on that near Pirtle. So that blue would tell us that this is not a raindrop. It's not a hailstone. This is something that would be non-meteorological. So it's a biological target, or not a biological target, but it could be building material, could be tree limb, could be something like that. So there's a little bit of damage here. Back toward Laird Hill, that bright blue area, I don't think that correlates very well with what we're looking at when we look at the storm relative velocity here. So that storm relative velocity, in fact, is back here. And so our damage indicator was back toward County Road 186. So this looks like this has moved out to the east a little bit farther, continues to move over toward 292. So in that area here, let me go back. I'm going to track this for us here. So we're going to find out, I need to figure out the length and path of this storm. So let me do that for us real fast. We'll click on that and we'll get that until 4 o'clock. That's going to go for Gregg and Rusk County. And let me also look at some of the details from the National Weather Service as they give us sort of a description in the movement and direction of what they're seeing, because this popped up pretty fast, moving east at 30 miles an hour. So the whole line is moving pretty quickly with these thunderstorms. Let me widen this out so you can see and get perspective on what we're talking about. There's a whole line of showers and thunderstorms moving here, and it's moving into this environment here that has some potential for some turning. We did have a strong thunderstorm that moved down to Nacogdoches, through Nacogdoches, and that one's going to be right here towards center now. That was a cell that was being watched earlier. And then there was a report up around Lindale, north of Lindale near Horde Road, of potential damage. That would have been back here in northern Smith County. So this could be this cell as it has tracked south and eastward into that front. Let me throw this into motion for us real fast. Oh, by the way, thank you for watching our CBS 19 Plus stream on CBS 19, and also over on the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. If you've got any questions on the Facebook page, we are monitoring so that we can answer those for you. This is the cold front. The actual cold front is coming through right now, and it's sliding right in here. And so as the front's sliding in, these showers and thunderstorms are moving. Notice their direction. They're west to east. This is typically one of the ways, or one of the directions, directional movements of storms that we see here in East Texas that can often start to rotate either from the southwest to the northeast or just due west to east. Seldom do we have storms that move northwest to southeast that will rotate. So seeing the potential for the movement and direction of these storms, some low-level winds that are sort of shooting in behind the storms. It's very windy out here to the west, and so there's a little bit of stronger wind flowing in from the west and easily encountering these southeasterly winds. And so as a result, we could end up here with just a couple of tornado warnings as we head through the rest of the afternoon. So we'll certainly have to be on guard for that. Let me zoom back in on this again. Pirtle area, we'll get a quick update here. Longview, by the way, no need to shelter right now. In fact, the thunderstorm is to the south. This is really unusual to see. We don't have much of an updraft. So there's not much of a strong rotating updraft in this storm. This is sort of one of these unusual thunderstorms that may have created this spin up. Look at that, one lightning strike here in the last several minutes. Other than that, this is just probably a low-topped, quick-moving, rotating little thunderstorm, technically a thunderstorm with that lightning strike in there that created that quick spin up. And that tornado warning goes for another 22 minutes. So let me go back to reflectivity, or I should say back to what we call the velocity. So what we're tracking here are the precipitation particles going away from the Shreveport radar and then the ones coming in. And that doesn't look specifically or tremendously strong right now, but let me go to a different, so this was the area that we were watching. And I believe that that rotation has moved off to the east here a little bit better than that. So this is really becoming very diffuse and tough to see. Let's see if we get a better picture on that. So it would be right in here. It's moved east of Pirtle. That did not line up where we were seeing some of that potential damage. It would be more in line now here, closer to, as we zoom in, closer to 322 in the Monroe area, and more likely back here toward FM 1249, but that looks really weak right now. So we'll see if this even lasts until 4 o'clock. But even if it doesn't last, even if we drop the tornado warning and we go with the severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado tag possible on it, then what would end up happening is I'd still want you to stay in your shelter until we've cleared the entire area, until 4 o'clock has passed. But then downstream, I got to tell you, areas over towards Stewart and Easton, Durgin, and Tatum, what we'd want you to do is stay close, be ready to go to the shelter in case we get another tornado warning off of this cell. But right now, there may be some damage around Kilgore, like we said. We did hear about the potential damage from the Lindale Fire Department near Horde Road, north of Lindale. Haven't confirmed that yet. Still waiting to get that confirmed. And then we'll see if we get any more details coming out of that storm as it moves away from Kilgore now and away from the Pirtle area. Let me check out what the Weather Service has for us here. An update from the Weather Service they're going to do a tornado watch for the East Texas counties south of Interstate 20, as well as the Louisiana parishes south of Interstate 20. And they're going to drop the tornado warning east of Kilgore. The rotation has weakened greatly. Okay, so, and no reports yet from outside the city of Kilgore, but they are monitoring the storm. So we may have had damage there. It looked like on the radar there might have been a little bit. Yes. Okay, so Kilgore ISD just posted that they are under a weather alert. They're holding students and staff. They'll likely hold this until maybe 4 o'clock when the warning expires. So right now we still have that tornado warning. That goes now until 3:41. So they're going to drop this real quick here. This is weekend, so we're going to see a cancellation of this tornado warning. I'll stay on for a couple of minutes after that, just until we get this all clear and we know that the storm is not going to spin something back up. Let me go back and put this into motion for us. So there we go. Let's see what we have here. We should have that tornado warning dropped at any moment from the Weather Service, and indeed they did. All right, so tornado warning is over if you were in your safe place in Monroe. Certainly if you're in your safe place at Kilgore or Pirtle, you can come out now. The storm has passed that area. Over in Hallsville, Easton, and Durgin, I need you to stay in your safe place just to let this storm pass. It's moving pretty quickly. It is along a line of showers and thunderstorms that are also moving through the area. It was interesting to note that our Titan indicator, which is looking inside the storm using mathematics, picked up no tornado impact at all, but rather high wind impact. So we could be getting some straight line winds that are creating perhaps a gust-nado. That's certainly possible in a situation like this. A straight line wind that spins up something that creates what looks like tornado damage. We don't have a parent thunderstorm cell with a rotating column of air extending downward from that parent thunderstorm. That might be semantics, but still technically it may just be more of a gust-nado versus a tornado. Of course, if the Weather Service does a survey, we'll know exactly what we had. But nevertheless, if you get damage and it's wind or tornado related, I don't think it matters. It is what it is when it comes to damage. Longview right now squeezing in between the storms. I think everything's fine in Longview. But again, we do have the damaging wind gust and boating hazards for tomorrow that will be a threat for us with our weather impact alert that is in effect through tomorrow. And let me go back one more. Went back too far here. I was trying to get zoomed in on our map here, and I was going to play the graphic out. I just wanted to play this for us so we can see the movement and direction. All right, so we're going to get a tornado watch likely up from Panola County, Nacogdoches County, Shelby County. I would imagine Harrison County will be included in that, San Augustine, and Angelina County out of those cells that are moving to the east. All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll send it back to regular programming on CBS 19. I'll pause for a moment and continue to stream so that we can get this latest on the tornado watch that looks like it will be issued here in East Texas at some point. All right, thank you everyone who's staying tuned here on our CBS 19 Plus stream and on our Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. We have one non-severe thunderstorm down in San Augustine. We just had the tornado warned storm for southern Gregg, northern Rusk County. That tornado warning has been allowed to expire. I'm just going to stay on a little bit longer. What I want to do is get the latest on any type of watch or warning that may be issued here this afternoon. And when we find out which counties are under the tornado watch, we'll certainly fill you in on that. All right, let me go back and check a different product here so that we can figure out what we're looking at here. So the watch and warning, or tornado watch, is expected to come out and cover an area south and east of Interstate 20. That should not include Tyler. It may include Longview, but it would only be briefly, as these storms have really already cleared the Longview area and are clearing the Henderson area. So it might be eastern Rusk County that would be involved in that. I would be shocked if we got any more of an extension to the west with this tornado watch. Doesn't look like anything has come out yet off the tornado watch. That's a wind advisory to our west. We'll wait and see. I'll put this up here. We'll wait on this tornado watch that will be issued again for what I believe will be, let me draw this on for you. I think it's going to end up being somewhere along this line out to here and over to here and all the way to the Louisiana border. This will probably go till about 10 o'clock tonight. So those thunderstorms will clear out of East Texas early this evening. When they do, we've got some very gusty winds that are going to come in behind it, or I should say breezy winds. I have to use that in a relative term because tomorrow we are going to see truly gusty winds that could gust up to about 50 miles an hour. These this afternoon will be out of the northwest at about 15 to 25 miles an hour. So as you can see, those thunderstorms are moving into this area. The air over here, pretty conducive for a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. The dew points rocketed up today, and when they did, they set the stage for that potential to see the development of more severe weather. Okay, so this is the latest from the Weather Service, and this is going to be the storm prediction. This is the outlook. So they have a marginal risk here, then they have a slight risk here, and we just had this storm. I think we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning down here to the south. I'm going to double check on that. I'll get back to the watch warning issue. I'll take this off and we'll probably be able to see it. But anyway, there it is. So there's your tornado watch. Let me clear out the tornado watch till 10 o'clock. That's going to include, looks like it's going to include Panola County, Shelby County, southeastern half of Nacogdoches County, Angelina County, and then up here to the north toward parts of, does not include Harrison County, does not include Gregg or Rusk County. Okay, so this is the environment right here where there could be a couple of more spin-ups. That storm right there at San Augustine, I'll zoom in on that. That looks like it's trying to start rotating or spinning just a little bit on us. So let's take a look at that inside here. We want to look right in there. There's some broad rotation coming in here northwest of Ford's Corner back to San Augustine. That storm has crossed and passed out of San Augustine. So if we get another tornado warning in San Augustine County, it would include eastern parts of San Augustine County and northern parts of Sabine County. I'll widen it back out for you, just kind of give you a look on what's going on. Oh, that severe thunderstorm warning was way down there to the south. Okay, towards Spurger. That's the one that popped up on me that I saw earlier. That goes until 4 o'clock also. That's for Tyler County. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Tyler County. Not the city of Tyler, Tyler County. All right, back here, again, a little bit of rotation showing up in our algorithm. That's where we had that warned storm earlier, right? Just north of there. And let me zoom in on that and just kind of give us a little sneak peek inside that storm. Take a sneak peek inside that storm. So there's some hail in there. We might get a severe thunderstorm warning again here popped for Panola County because of the hail. The probability of hail in there is 100%, but the probability that it's the size of quarters is only about 60% right now, and that's of 348. And the lightning is increasing on it, but the tornado impact low. The hail impact on that storm is the highest right now, but I am seeing an increase in lightning with that storm currently. Let me track that for us here. It's going to be sort of a line. It's kind of getting into a line of thunderstorms. It looked like what was going to end up happening is we would have that line of thunderstorms form in deep East Texas and then move out to the east. These are moving at 30 miles an hour. So that's a fairly good rate that they're moving. So over the next hour or so, they're going to move into Pine Hill at 351, Dotson at 402, Arlem at 409, Carthage at 421, Timpson at 425, Tenaha at 441, and Flat Fork at 450. So those thunderstorms are marching into this area where there is now a tornado watch until 10 o'clock. They have moved out of New Summerfield, Cushing. I think Cushing, you're going to be okay. Let me widen that out just a little bit. Again, there's some rotation showing up at about 10,000 feet. So we'll keep an eye on that. That would be one of those, if that rotation can lower, we'd get a stronger indication for a storm that could become a tornado warned storm. But right now, no warning on that as we speak. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning south of this area. Can't get this to cooperate with me. Let me see again. We'll warn. What I'll do is I'll just come back on over and widen it out for us. So let's see what's going on here with that. Okay, there it is. Severe thunderstorm warning just popped up on that threat of hail with that storm. And Panola, Rusk County until 4:30. And there's the little hail core. Did you see that right there? Southwest of Pine Hill, that purple area there is where we're going to find some hail. So let's come in here and find our hail tracker and see what we got. Okay, it's not showing, nothing's showing up there, but certainly there is that potential for that core to produce some quarter-sized hail. So we're not seeing that right now, but that is a potential area just southwest of Pine Hill. There's your rotation east of 259, southwest of Pine Hill, with that severe thunderstorm warning until 4:30. This line here would indicate that we have a severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado. That just crossed over 259. Now, what I want you to do if you live in Pine Hill or Dotson is to get to your safe place and stay there until this warning expires in 45 minutes. And I say that because we have, again, that tornado possible tag on the storm as it exists. All right, I will manually run this back and forth for us so we can see this. Well, I thought I could. Let me just, I'll do it, we'll automate it. You can see how that rotating part of the cell slid in south of Henderson. And so now that sits there to the, right in there. So I can back that up. We had the tornado warning, 259, that expired. And then we get into Dotson and then Carthage. So that's going to go out to Carthage till 4:30, Tenaha, Dotson, severe thunderstorm on that warned part of the cell right in there. All right, let's take a look at any kind of debris tracker. We were looking at that earlier. If we're going to find anything, that lightning is really increasing there. So that is concerning that we could be looking at another tornado warning popping up here near Dotson, southeast of Henderson. There's a little bit of green against that red. So the yellow might be some hail. That green, though, would be different. It would not be hail and would not be rain. It could be something else. So let me go back to the reflectivity. We continue to see the rotation in that area, and we continue to see what looks like an increasing thunderstorm. It's getting stronger. The rainfall rates are certainly increasing with this storm. The updraft is growing a little bit stronger, and maybe some downburst winds would be associated out the front end here, wrapping back into the storm here. And then somewhere in there is that rotation as we have been talking about. Let me go back on our storm tracker again. Again, kind of broad. It's probably more than about maybe 4 or 5 miles wide. We want that to be less than 2 miles wide for that to be super concerning. So right now, not not real concerning as we have that wide circulation. I'm going to stay on till 4 o'clock on this stream here. Then we'll get off and get ready for the 5 o'clock news on CBS19. So just getting reports from some other media. They're at the Toledo Bend area, and they are looking at some storms. National Weather Service in Shreveport says that, okay, so we had the report near Lindale of a possible tornado, and they're saying it is possible the potential tornado in northern Smith and the potential one near Kilgore were more like land spouts. Okay, so given the very weak area of rotation, I use the term gustnado, usually because you're not tied to a parent thunderstorm. A land spout would be very similar to that, and land spouts are very hard to track on radar. So a land spout is essentially, it's a funnel, and it can create tornado damage, but they're not going to call it a tornado. They'll call it a land spout damage or wind damage off of that. So it's very possible. Just looking at that very weak rotation that we were seeing inside that cell. Continue to track this severe thunderstorm warning here for Panola and Rusk County. That's the western half of Rusk. It does touch Carthage, does not include the city of Henderson. And then that line there is for, again, the potential that we could have another one of these land spout spin-ups that would quickly spin up, and with an area of weak rotation like that would certainly call into mind something of that possibility. All right, so the Titan indicator now changing over not to any more of a rotation, but the possibility of hail. So if there is hail inside that storm, it could reach the size of almost ping pong balls. But let me go to the hail tracker and see if there's anything showing up on it yet. Yeah, finally. So our algorithm was a little bit ahead of that, and this might be in addition to what they've seen earlier, and in addition to some of this marble to nickel-sized hail in that storm that crossed over 259, if you live in Pine Hill and want to protect anything from some hail, might want to get it under a roof of something of that nature right now until that storm passes. The hail core itself is likely going to track straight east. Let me get out of the way. It's going to out to the east at about 30 miles an hour. So I'll stop it right there. So that would be headed toward Buncombe in about a half hour. So if you live in Buncombe and this can hold together, you're going to get hailed on for a few minutes. All right, I'll widen that back out and go back to radar. Yes. All right, so now we have some video of damage in Kilgore. So let's, on 42, Highway 42. Okay, so we're going to look at this video. I'll step out so you can see this. Okay, so this is going to be damage Highway 42, Kilgore, behind the storm, obviously, because the sun's out. So I'm looking to see what looks like that barn, that building looks like that was partially knocked down. Looks like a tree knocked down there. So yeah, that would be more indicative of some sort of, like what I said, gustnado, but maybe land spout. Looking at the sky, that would be more indicative of that type of a quick spin up like that. So yeah, the video like that is a great ground truth to give us an indication of what really happened there. It's interesting to note, we went into today with a marginal risk of severe weather. Biggest threat going to be down toward Nacogdoches and Henderson. And yet as those thunderstorms fired up along the front, we got just warm enough with enough humidity to fire off those storms. So we're going to watch this. Again, we have that tornado watch until 10 p.m. for the areas including Panola County, not Harrison County, Panola County, Shelby County, southern half of Nacogdoches County, San Augustine County, and Sabine County, and then over into the Louisiana side. Oh, sir, here goes the tornado watch. Let me pop that up for us here. They finally got everything correlated. All right, so here's what we're looking at. Now, they did include a part of Rusk County. That's interesting because what I just showed you before did not include Rusk County. But what could be happening here is that we have the box drawn, and the box includes the very southeastern part of Rusk County. All right, so Henderson would not be included in that, but the very southeastern corner would. In fact, let me turn this off and see if we can get a more definitive look at what they're talking about here, because if any part of the county is included in that, then you'll get, there it is. So this is a better view of what areas are really in the tornado watch, okay? So you can see, look how much of Rusk County is in the tornado watch. So you're fine, Rusk County. That's all that's in the tornado watch right now, okay? You got that cell that's still moving out of Rusk County into Panola County, but at Panola, Shelby, eastern half of Nacogdoches County, the city of Nacogdoches is not even in that tornado watch. St. Augustine, Sabine, and then Shelby County. So a very small area to our southeast in that tornado watch, and that goes until 10 o'clock with that severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4:30 with the potential, there's the hail core moving toward Pine Hill right now. Let me go back, I'm gonna put it back on the hail tracker so we get an idea. There it is, looks like the hail core's gotten a little stronger or maybe just a little bit bigger with some nickel, maybe some quarter-sized hail in there. That's gonna move north of Dotson. So, and looks like it moves between Pine Hill and Dotson, closer to maybe down to Gary City if it holds together. All right, I'm going to take a break. Get ready for the 5 o'clock news on CBS 19 News. I appreciate everyone watching on our CBS 19 stream and over on CBS 19 as we had that tornado warning for a few minutes. And then also on our Facebook page, any questions, please post those. And then, of course, on the YouTube channel, you can like, subscribe, and share the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then when we have tornado warnings, we will pop on and give you updates. All right, one more look at the radar before we say so long for now, unless we get another tornado warning. We will see you again on CBS 19 News at 5 o'clock. Thanks for watching.